Okay, time for a 10-minute rant on Sonic 3. I realize I'm super late on this. I saw it I think even before the holidays, so yeah. Anything that came out before Christmas is probably considered pretty ancient, so you probably won't see a 10-minute rant on Red 1. Or maybe I might just make one, I don't know. The way TikTok is going, I don't even know if I'm going to do this, but hey, you know that these appear on YouTube, so that's where I'm going to survive. I better not talk about that. Sonic 3 was a pretty decent film, I have to say. Here's the thing about the Sonic franchise. The fact it has the following it has is really amazing. When I went to see this film, me and my son saw it on opening night, and I was amazed at not only how many people were there, because we did barely just get in, but the excitement level of the audience was there. There were certain things that were just introduced in this film. For example, certain songs that played at certain times that I was really surprised that everyone in the audience knew exactly what this is referencing. And to me, I just kind of went what is this? It's just a song, and it's working pretty well with the scene. But no, a lot of the people, they know this is an Easter egg that they have latched onto, and they are just loving this thing. And there's a lot going on in Sonic 3. I might as well get to the plot of it. The basic premise is that Shadow has shown up, and Shadow was teased in the Sonic 2, and probably should have been, because I feel like these guys are making these Sonic films and they'll probably keep making them. The fact that Sonic has lived on this long is crazy, and the fact that it's not only had 3 films is crazy. It's kind of like when Thor came out. Remember, they made a so-so Thor film that you kind of went well, I guess that was okay. And then you saw Thor 2 and went that was less okay. And then you saw Thor 3 and it's holy cats, this is what we're going for. Sonic 3 feels like that movie, because it goes all out in what it's trying to do. The best thing I think about this Sonic franchise is it's very clearly targeted for younger audiences, which have strangely latched on to this Sonic franchise. A franchise which was released in 1991 or something? I mean, that's where I remember playing on the Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog, and never did I expect this to be this huge. Anyway, but I've talked about that enough. Basically, Shadow is essentially some sort of alien or something from another world. He's been with, on Earth since the early 70s. Even though I don't know. Sometimes I don't like it when I'm watching a film and they show a montage from a certain time period, but they're playing a song that was written in another time period. In this case, Shadow and Dr. Eggman's... Oh man, this is where it gets really confusing. Because, Shadow once knew this little girl who he befriended, and they have a montage, and they play End of the Line by the Traveling Wilburys, which wasn't released till the 90s. So, however, the tune fits, and it's one of my favorite tunes, so hey, I give it a pass. Anyway, so basically, here's something I want to talk about Sonic 3. It's definitely targeted for kids, like I said before, but I've seen kids' movies that pander, and they don't give a lot of credibility to their writing, and they just put out crap. Sonic 3 feels like it takes it to the next level. In other words, it's trying to make a statement, and it's not trying to do it in too obvious a way, but it knows that this is a kid's film, and it knows that, hey, for you to get the message, we might have to state it outright. And in the case of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, it's about grief. In other words, this is a film that goes in a very, I wouldn't say a dark direction, but I like the fact that it's willing to embrace that death exists and it can change us. Sort of like Into the Spider-Verse did a few years ago. In this case, spoiler alert here on this, because we can't help it. Shadow befriended this little girl, and then the little girl died. And part of the thing was just people's xenophobia, and and it was just, and as a result, Shadow has become this sort of tortured soul. You could use the word edgelord. I know it's a word I've used in my 10-minute rants before. So, yeah. There's a great scene where when Shadow gets free, all he does is just step down from his cryonic chamber, and it's such an awesome move. I don't know, there's something about it that's just really captivates you right from the get-go. You know what this is, and it's I don't know why that moment works so well. And of course Keanu Reeves and his voice really bring this character to life, and I get the feeling this was probably cast with him in mind, and I get the feeling if he had said no, I don't know what they would have done. Anyway, so basically, yeah, this is one of those films in which Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have to essentially go against Shadow. They don't really know what's up. This is one of those films in which backstories just keep getting released and released and released. In this case, you get to see Dr. Eggman's, was it grandfather? Father? I'm not even really certain. But yeah, Jim Carrey is there, and of course he is doing his awesomest as well. It seems like every line he gives is great. And the fact he plays a dual role in there means you have twice as much Carrey. And I am very surprised at how many times they got these two characters so close together, because usually when they do dual roles, they have to go out of their way to keep them the space apart, and you're constantly looking for the seam in between. But in this case, they do a dance number together that is just I don't even know how they even orchestrated this. And I'm sure you've seen that dance number probably on TikTok or somewhere else. But anyway, yeah, he's always got the funniest lines. I love how he has this is my, I don't give a damn how I look. I think is one of the funniest lines he can even, it's just, I feel like only Jim Carrey can really deliver these lines here. Gonna get into some spoiler territory here. This film goes all out cosmically. Basically this is one of those films in which they gotta find two keys to certain things, and this thing unleashes this massive mega weapon that has the power to destroy the world. And the villain wants to destroy the world, and because he's just a bad guy. And I actually believe that there's a part where this mega weapon cuts a part of the moon off, and I'm going yeah, I don't think we're gonna, I think that should be probably addressed, shouldn't it? It never really is, which I think is kind of strange. Anyway, so Shadow does have to learn to overcome his grief and learn to be a decent guy. And yeah, which I think is kind of an interesting little moral for this film. As for Sonic, there's some character growth there. I think right at the very beginning, let's see, Sonic's, I hesitate to say owner, James Marsden, can't remember his donut lord, that guy. Yeah, he's basically commenting that, hey, you could have let grief turn you into something really fierce and terrible, but you didn't. And I think that's kind of what sets Sonic apart from, well, other heroes, and makes him a pretty decent guy. And that's what I think this film is about. Now, getting into more spoilers when we're getting into the post-credits sequence. There is several Sonic characters that are from the franchise that I have no idea, but when they appeared, people in the audience were just cheering so loud. There was Metal Sonic, and then there was another one. It was a female Sonic character whose name I'm kind of spacing on. And yeah, I have to say that this is they're obviously going to make more of these things, and why shouldn't they? It sounds like they're making a lot of money, and Paramount's obviously found a new franchise, so why shouldn't it keep going? So yeah, I will have to say, this is worth seeing. I'm sure it'll show up on Paramount Plus, and if you get a chance to see it for free or just pay the money to see it in the theater, it's still worth seeing. So yeah, gonna give this one a great rating because I just had a really fun time, and it's a good film for kids and adults. Anyway, this has been Mark Rollins from the Geek Church, signing off.